Welcome back to Story Time. It is that time of the year when everybody is celebrating the birth of Lord Krishna. And so today let us also hear this story and celebrate the arrival of the Lord in our hearts and homes. It was the age of Dwapar Yuga and Mother Earth was fed up with the atrocities and the terror created by demons like Kamsa. And so she approached Brahmaji. She told Brahmaji, I can take the weight of the mountains, the rivers, the oceans, the trees, the animals. But the burden of demons like Kamsa is too much for me. Please save me now. And Brahmaji, listening to her plea and request, took all the devatas with him and went and approached Lord Vishnu. When Lord Vishnu heard them out, he told them, yes, I know that Bhumi is suffering and I will take an avatar and come on earth. I will rid her of all the sorrow. And so now Brahmaji and all the devatas went away happily. In Mathura, it was the king Ugrasena who ruled and his son Kamsa was the very terror that was causing Mother Earth so much sorrow. Now it was the time for his sister Devaki's wedding. And she had married Vasudeva and both of them were setting to live in the royal chariot. At that time, suddenly Kamsa felt that he had so much love for his sister that he himself would draw the reins of the chariot. And so he stepped down and took the ropes in his hand. Suddenly at that time, there was a heavenly voice. Oh foolish Kamsa, don't you know the eighth son of Devaki whose chariot you are pulling will be the cause of your death. Hearing this, suddenly Kamsa lost all his radiance. He took out the sword and at that very instant was about to behead his sister Devaki. A few moments before, he was showering his love and affection on this very Devaki and now he wanted to take her life. But Vasudeva, the noble husband of Devaki, stopped him. He told him, O Kamsa, is it righteous for you to kill your own dear sister? I too have heard that voice. And that voice said, the eighth son of Devaki would be the reason for your death and not she herself. So please grant her her life. And I promise that every time a child is born to us, I will hand it over to you. Now Kamsa got convinced. Such was the power of the noble Vasudeva's words. And so he put the sword back in its sheath. But yet he imprisoned both of them. He put them under arrest and posted many guards around their house so that every time a baby would be born, they would immediately report it to them. And he would then come and claim the life of that baby. And so it happened that Vasudeva and Devaki, bound in chains, waited day after day and prayed to the Lord to come and save them from this torture and torment. When the first child was born, just the cry of that baby was enough for the guards to rush to Kamsa, report it to him and bring him running there to the cell. And Kamsa, with not even a shred of mercy in his heart, took the newborn baby and killed it. Thus, in front of the eyes of Devaki and Vasudeva, 6 children of theirs met the same fate. Finally, when it was time for the 7th baby to be born, Lord Vishnu told Yogamaya, go transfer the baby to Gokul, where Vasudeva's other wife Rohini stays. And so it was that when everybody was asleep, Yogamaya conducted this transfer. She took the fetus from Devaki's womb and transferred it into Rohini's. And there Balarama or Sankarshana as his name is was born. He grew up safely in Gokul. Now Kamsa thought that fearing him, the 7th baby did not even take birth and she lost the baby even before it was born. And now Kamsa awaited the birth of the 8th baby. Everybody was on alert and Devaki and Vasudeva would pray to the Lord to save them from this agony. As the time approached, approached, Devaki soon began glowing. There was a radiance in her face because she was carrying the Lord of the worlds in her womb. Whenever Kamsa entered the cell, he would always be filled with dread and fear. His heart would start beating rapidly because whenever he looked at Devaki, he could understand that she was glowing and filled with brilliance because she was carrying the Lord himself. And soon it so happened that Kamsa would be constantly thinking of the Lord out of fear. At any time of the day or the night, the thought of the Lord would never leave him. These are the strange ways in which Lord makes even the demons think of him. Soon the magical time arrived. It was the dark fortnight of Shravan month, and it was the 8th day or the Ashtami. The entire nature also seemed to be celebrating, and so rivers were flowing with sparkling clear waters as if they had become even more purer because the Lord was about to come. The breeze was cool and scented, and now we know that lotuses bloom during sunrise and close at sunset. But at this time, even during the night, lotuses seem to be blooming everywhere on the waters. The moon also seemed to be watching and awaiting the arrival of the Lord. There were sounds of drum beats from the heavens, and the Devatas started showering flowers. And in that prison cell, Devaki and Vasudeva saw the Lord appear before them. Suddenly there was a brilliance filling the cell, and Vasudeva and Devaki could not just open their eyes. As they slowly managed to do so, they saw the Chaturbhuja form standing in front of them, smiling very benevolently. With Shankar, Chakra, Gada, Padma, the Lord blessed them. Vasudeva and Devaki started praying with folded hands, and the Lord said, "O mother, I keep coming as your son. I was Prishnigarbha when you were Prishni and father was Sutapada Prajapati. Next, as Vamana, I came and was born to you when you were Aditi and he was Kashyapa. And even this time, I have chosen your lap to rest on." Devaki was filled with so much joy, and Vasudeva, even though he was bound in chains, started dancing in happiness. Suddenly Devaki said, "How will I be able to show my affection to you, Lord, if you have come in this form? If you really want to be my child, please come in the form in which I can carry you and show my love." And so, immediately the Lord transformed himself into a baby. That baby was radiantly beautiful with curly hair, beautiful eyes, lotus-like small tiny feet, and that dark blue radiant color all over which was shining with a brilliance that filled the entire cell. And as Devaki kept watching at her dear Lala, Lord Krishna looked at Vasudeva and had a silent exchange of words. He seemed to be telling him, "Take me away across the river Yamuna to Gokul. Take me to Nanda Baba's house where Yashoda would have just delivered a baby. Keep me there and bring that baby here. Do it quickly or Kamsa will soon come." Vasudeva, agreeing to the truth of these words, searched around and found an old fruit basket. He took it, and on the hay he spread a soft cloth, and on that delicately placed Krishna. He told Devaki that if they were to protect their baby, he had to be taken away and kept in safety. Poor Devaki, she was torn with sorrow because so soon after she became a mother to this lovely baby, she would be separated from him. And so she took the baby again for one last look, and as she watched, teardrops kept falling continuously, and the first Abhisheka of Balakrishna was performed by Mother Devaki. Finally, Vasudeva took the baby back and tried to go out. Magically, the gates of the prison opened. The chains had by now fallen from Vasudeva's feet, and as he kept walking, door after door began opening. the palace doors opened and the gates to the fortress also soon opened far apart. All the guards and the demons who were outside seemed to be snoring and slumbering. The entire city seemed to be asleep. Vasudeva realized with a great surge of devotion that it was all the Lord's play. And with great bhakti, he carried the basket with his dear baby Krishna and walked ahead. As he neared the banks of the Yamuna, the rain started pouring heavily, and soon he saw that the waters of the Yamuna seemed to be rising. Without a care or without a trace of worry for his own life, Vasudeva kept walking. And at that moment, to protect the baby from the torrential downpour, Adishesha appeared. Like an umbrella, the hoods of the great serpent stood guard throughout the entire journey. However, river Yamuna now felt a sudden flood of love towards the Lord. And so the water started rising. She wanted to get one glimpse of the dear Lord. The waters reached the waist of Vasudeva, soon the chest and the neck, and the baby Lalan realized that his father would be submerged. Vasudeva did not stop, but Balakrishna decided that he would give darshan to Yamuna Devi. And slowly the baby put out his foot outside the basket, and that toe touched the waters of Yamuna. Getting total satisfaction, the waters of the flooded Yamuna soon started dropping and then made way so that there was a clear path in front of Vasudeva, and Vasudeva quickly walked and reached the other banks. When he entered Gokul, there was nobody in sight. It was all the play of the Lord. And quickly Vasudeva entered Yashoda's room. There, beside her, he saw that she had given birth to a baby girl. And as advised, he immediately kept little Krishna beside Yashoda and picking up the baby girl started walking. But at the last minute, he could not control himself. He rushed back, looked at Krishna, folded his hands and prayed to him that please make it so happen that we meet once again. And then with great difficulty, he started walking back. When he reached Mathura, everybody was still asleep. But as soon as he entered his cell, all the gates began shutting miraculously. And the little baby girl let out a loud wail as if to announce to Kamsa that his death had come. Hearing that cry, the guards quickly woke up, rushed to Kamsa and announced that the 8th child had been born. Kamsa rushed to the prison only to find that there was a baby girl. Kamsa by now was trembling with fear and anger because the words of that Akashvani kept haunting him day and night. Now the time had come when he would once and for all finish it. And as he pulled the baby, suddenly the baby slipped from his hand and stood as a divine goddess. The divine goddess announced, "Oh foolish Kamsa, your death has already approached because that child who is destined to kill you is born and is safe now far away from here." Hearing the words of the goddess, Kamsa suddenly was filled with fear and he fell at the feet of Vasudeva and Devaki and begged them for forgiveness. He assured them that now he was a changed person and he set them free. However, this change of heart lasted exactly for a day. By the time he sat with his council of ministers, all the wicked people of the land the next day, they all made plans and convinced Kamsa that they could easily defeat Vishnu. They could easily defeat the Devatas. There was no need to be scared of them. And they planned to murder all the newborns who were born in this area as well as from far off places. In this way, Kamsa and the wicked Asuras were soon bringing upon themselves their own death. Meanwhile, in Gokul, can you imagine what the scene must be? The darling baby of Nanda Baba and Yashoda had taken birth. The entire village was celebrating. They were smearing curd and butter on each other, throwing gulal in the air, and dressed in bright clothes, carrying gifts for the newborn baby. Everybody came and made a beeline to Nanda Baba's house. And Nanda Baba, wanted to share that joy which was filling in his heart, so he distributed gifts to everybody. As Nanda Baba and Yashoda looked lovingly at their Bal Kanhaiya, little did they know that not only would this baby bring great joy in their lives, but he would also be the cause to save the entire universe. On this occasion of Janmashtami, let us also celebrate the birth of Lord Krishna in our hearts. May he kill all the demons like Kamsa that reside within us. And just like the gopis of Vrajbhumi, may we also revel in the thoughts of Lord Krishna constantly. Happy Janmashtami to all of you. Do share this story with your family and friends, and I will be back with another story next Thursday. Until we meet again, Hari Om.